Hey fellow fishing fanatic, before you go and waste your money on a bunch of spinnerbaits that don't work, you need to watch this video because I've tested out several of the top spinnerbaits on the market. I'm about to tell you which ones work the best and which ones are my favorite. My name is Wesley Littlefield with Anglers.com, and I've been fishing for nearly 3 decades, and a spinnerbait has been with me for a majority of those 3 decades. It's one of my favorite lures to throw, but of course I have my favorites. And those 3 favorites are the Berkely Power Blade that has actually just recently come out, the ZMan Sling Blade, I really love the compactness of those, and then the Booyah Pond Magic because it's a really small, compact, and it works great in ponds. Hence the name. So with these 3 spinnerbaits, I can cover pretty much the spectrum of the kind of fishing that I do, from kayak fishing to pond fishing to bank fishing and everything just about in between. And that's why they're my 3 go-to spinnerbaits. But there's several others that are on the market that are well worth your money. And I'm actually about to dive into the pros and cons of why I like these specific 3 and a few others that I like. So stay tuned. You'll find all of the gear listed down in the description below where you can click on one of those links and purchase it. We appreciate the help. We get a small kickback from that at no extra cost to you. So it doesn't cost you any extra and it helps us out. So I really appreciate that. Also, if you find this content helpful in any way, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed and commented your favorite spinnerbait below. That way I can test it out if I missed it. So the first spinnerbait I mentioned is the Berkely Power Blade. Now, the price is a little bit expensive for my taste. It's $10 for a spinnerbait where the average is like 5 to 7, but it's got a few pros that the others don't have. For instance, the skirt, Berkely Power Bait infused, so it's got a special scent to it, and it just makes fish, you know, get a little bit more attention to it, and it makes it feel a little bit more natural to the fish. So that's one advantage that it has that others don't. It was also designed by a local pro that many of you would know, Edwin Evers, and you know, he designed it for him to use, so obviously it works. And he designed it in several different colors, several different blades, so you can get your Willow blade, you can get your Indiana blade, you can get your Colorado blade, whatever blade you prefer for the conditions that you fish, you can get it. Whatever color you prefer, you can get it in. That's really awesome. But like I said, the big con is just how expensive it is compared to the others on the market. The next spinnerbait that was one of my favorites is the ZMan Sling Blades. Now these are just awesome for, right when I took it out of the package, I was like, man, this is gonna be my new favorite spinnerbait. Just because it's a little bit more compact, but it still has the weight to get down. So if you need to fish it deep, you can fish it deep. And of course it's got different weights that you can buy it in, and different colors, different styles as far as the blades go. So it's really just an all-around solid spinnerbait. And then the price isn't so bad. It's still a little on the high end at $8, but for the most part, it's a super high quality bait that I really like. One thing that I noticed fishing this one and the Berkely was you can really feel the blades vibrating. So if you're fishing like muddy water, dirty water, then these are probably your go-to ones just because you can really feel that vibration and you know you're getting a lot of vibration, a lot of commotion creating in the water with these 2 spinnerbaits. So one of my favorites for pond fishing is the Booyah Pond Magic. Now this little spinnerbait comes in at like $5, very inexpensive, half the price of the Berkely, and it comes in several different color variations. So whether you've got a clear pond you want to fish or you've got a dirty pond, you can pick and choose. It also comes in a couple different blade variations, so you can pick and choose that as well, depending on your conditions. But what I really like about this one is it doesn't cause near the commotion that any of the other spinnerbaits do, but you can still throw a moving bait and get it moving a lot quicker through the water because it's a lot lighter. Now, it's much more compact than the other spinnerbaits, and so you're probably gonna tend to catch a lot more smaller fish with it. But hey, if you're in it to catch fish, this is the one for you. Another one that I was testing out today was the War Eagle Screamin Eagle. Now this one was the complete opposite of the Pond Magic in that it was a lot bigger lure and it had a lot more vibration, or it created a lot more commotion in the water. Now it comes in several different colors and a few different sizes, so you can really dial in what you want. But as far as cons go, it was kind of tough to find because the price wasn't absurd. It was about like $8, so a little on the high end, but at the same time, not crazy outrageous. And as far as cons, it was just tough to find any for it. So the last spinnerbait that I tested out today was the Booyah Super Shad. Now this one, right when I purchased it, I was like, I don't know about this one. It just looks a little odd, but it kind of reminds me, honestly, of an umbrella rig. It's got like 3-4 different blades on it. They're all willow blades, but you still get a lot of commotion because there's 4 different size blades, and all the different blades just make it look like a group of shad swimming through the water. I also like that it comes in multiple colors, a little bit of variation in size as far as weight or size of the lure, but it's still a very big, bulky lure. And so fishing like during the winter, it's kind of like, and I would really think that this will shine during the summertime the most, early summer or early fall when fish are really feeding heavy before the winter. And just due to the bulkiness and everything, I don't think that this is really gonna be your clear water lure. Number one, because of the bulkiness, but also it's just a big flashy lure, and I tend to shy away from big flashy lures like that in clear water because the fish can really get a lot better look at it. So I wouldn't recommend it for clear water if you fish a lot of clear water. But those are the ones that I've tested today at the pond. My thoughts on them, I will tell you that I would buy the ZMan, I would buy the Berkely, and I would buy the Booyah Pond Magic. Those 3 right there would just guarantee that it's gonna cover the spectrum for me, and I'm gonna catch a lot of fish with those 3 lures. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how I actually choose the best, or what lure that I'm gonna choose for the day. So number one, I start with color selection, and that's gonna be, I like to keep it pretty basic. I'm gonna go whites and real natural colors in clear water, and for stained to murky water to just dirty water, I'm gonna go black and blues, chartreuse and whites. And then in the spring, I mix it up a little bit where I actually throw a lot more reds and oranges. But those are the 3 general times and color variations that you really need to think about. I don't like to overcomplicate it. I don't think, you know, you'll see some of my spinnerbaits have 3 or 4 different colors in the skirt. Do you need that? No. I think it's just add another little flash that the manufacturers can say, hey, look at us, we're a little different. And that's really, you know, sometimes you might need the little difference, but most of the time, you're not gonna need that. Another thing that I look at is the weight or the size, the bulkiness, how compact this lure is. Sometimes you do need a really big presentation to really grab that bass's attention. Other times you want a smaller, compact lure. So I tend to have both, and I like to really cover the spectrum of, I've got some really big ones, I've got some medium-sized ones, and I've got some little ones like the Booyah Pond Magic. That way, I don't have to worry about it, you know, I can tie one on, if it's not working, tie another one on, and try to dial in what the fish want for the day. The last thing that you need to consider for spinnerbaits is actually the blade style, or the type of blade that you're gonna throw for the day. Now, there's willow blades, Colorado blades, and Indiana blades. Willow blades don't put off as much vibration, so you're gonna want those for more clear water situations, and even on a little bit more sunnier days, a willow blade would be what I would lean towards. As far as Colorado blades go, they put off a lot more vibrations. You'll actually see these a lot on night fishing spinnerbaits. So just remember, the Colorado blade puts off a lot more. So night fishing and in murky, dirty water, go with the Colorado blade. And for that kind of in between where it's a little bit stained or clear, go with the Indiana blade, because it's kind of like a hybrid between the willow blade and the Colorado blade. As you can tell, spinnerbaits are one of my favorite lures because I've just caught a lot of fish with them. I've got a lot of confidence in them, and I've also caught a lot of big fish with them. So it just boosts my confidence in them even more. And now that you've purchased your new favorite spinnerbait by using the links in the description below, you need to learn how to rig it. And there's actually a video down below me right now that's gonna show you how to properly rig a spinnerbait. Yes, you can rig it wrong. It seems like it should be straightforward, but it's not always. So check out that video down below me. And until then, remember that education is important, but fishing is essential.